Hi, Martin here, and in this video I'm going to explain types in Swift programming. So let's get started. So firstly for this video I'm going to be using Swift Playgrounds and Learn to Code, specifically Learn to Code 2. So Learn to Code 1 and 2 are interactive courses created by Apple within Swift Playgrounds to teach the Swift programming language. If you don't have Swift Playgrounds or Learn to Code, I'll link my videos below that show you how to get it and goes over the basics as well. So in the Learn to Code course, after the variables section that I went through in a previous video, the next section is types. So types is sometimes a little bit of a difficult one to explain. So on this introduction part, we learn that the Learn to Code course introduces types as a blueprint, okay? So when you use a blueprint to build multiple houses, you know that the houses will look similar. So in programming, a type is like a blueprint and an instance is like a house that you build from the blueprint. So type is a blueprint. So if you had a type house, you know they're all going to be similar, but you can create an instance or create a house that follows the blueprint, but maybe has a few of uniquenesses to it. So it says here, a blueprint shows the features and behaviors of a house. In a type, features are called properties and behaviors are called methods. So you can see here that you've got some properties. So really just a variable defined inside a type. So it's specific to that type. And then a method is essentially a function defined inside a type. Okay. So you can have a type which has various colors. Here it shows bedrooms and then methods. So run the water, turn the lights on. So initially, wrapping your head around what types are can seem a little confusing, but once you start to implement it, hopefully it will start to make a little bit more sense. So the final example they have is, let's say you want to open the garage door in a house. Firstly, you refer to that house by name, and then you tell it what to do. So my house, which is the name, and then they're using what they call dot notation, and then what it is that they want to do. So it says here, my house, so in Swift, the part before the dot is the instance, and then the part after the dot is the method from the my house instance, okay? So remember, an instance is just a type, okay? So an instance of a type. So an instance of our house type blueprint. Again, may seem confusing now, but let's jump into an activity so that hopefully this will make a little bit more sense. So we'll go to the first activity, which is deactivating a portal. So in this challenge, it talks about using the dot notation. Okay, so it says here, green portal dot is active equals true. So what that'll do is all the green portals in the world, it will make them active. Okay, so this dot notation, okay, what it says here. So it says here, up until now, you've had called functions in a general way. These functions work for moving your character around, but you can't use them for other items in the puzzle world. So what this is going to let us do is interact with things that we don't specifically have by near. So interact with the world more so. So the first thing that we need to do is use dot notation to set the isActive property of green portal, which they've already given us, to false. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And then we can toggle open each switch. So what you can see is if we didn't change it to false, Byte's going to walk forward, hit the portal, and then be transported over here. So we have to turn that portal off to be able to finish this challenge. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going, so now we can go ahead and we can solve the puzzle like we normally would. So I'm just going to move Byte forward 3 times to get him into the middle. I'm also going to just turn him to the left, and then I'm just going to create a loop so that he can go forward, collect, toggle the switch, turn around, come back to the middle, and finish that for the last 2. So I'm going to click 4 and add a for loop. I'm going to go 1 to 3 because we've got 3 different switches. And then in here, I'm going to, for each one, add move forward 3 times so that we get to the switch. We're then going to toggle the switch. We're going to turn around by using 2 turn commands. Then we need to get back to the middle. So we want to move forward again 3 times. And then lastly, turn left so that we're facing the next switch. So hopefully, in theory, that should work. So I'm going to click on run fastest. So you should see the portals deactivate. There we go. And now we're just running through our loop like we've done in multiple previous challenges. So again, changing that isActive property essentially is giving us more ways to interact with the puzzle world. So let's try one more challenge just to kind of reiterate the use of types and their instances and how interacting with the puzzle world will allow us to have more control over it. So let's go ahead and click on setting the right portal. So you can see here we've got no code, but essentially what we're being asked to do here is collect all the gems. But you can see that we've got two portals. So we've got blue and we've got pink. Okay, so we'll need to activate and deactivate those portals to be able to collect all of the gems. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to move forward so that I can get myself over here and collect these gems. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we go move forward, what I'm then going to do is I'm actually going to use this dot notation, okay, and see as I'm typing it's popping up at the bottom, and I'm going to turn the portal off so that I can collect these two gems without it transporting me back. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my code to collect those two gems. So I'm going to move forward and collect the first one, then turn around again using two turn commands, move forward a couple times, and then I'm going to collect that second gem. Okay, so we're going to need to turn ourselves around again. And then I want to now go back through the portal. So we're going to change the isActive to true. So now when we step forward, we're going to transport back to that portal. However, if you see that we walk forward, that's then going to put us out here. And if we move forward, we're going to go straight into that pink portal, which is going to transport us. So we're going to miss this gem here. So at the same time as changing the blue portal, I'm also going to change the pink portal to false. So now when I go through the portal, I can move forward to where the gem is, and I can collect that gem. Turn around again, and then I'm going to do the final portal, and I'm going to put the pink portal back to isActive. I'm going to change that to true, and then I'm going to put in the final few lines, okay, to get my character Byte to where he needs to be to collect that final gem. Okay, so seems like a reasonable amount of code, but it's no different than how we've solved puzzles before. The only difference now is that we have to think about that isActive value with the portals and whether they're true or false. So let's go ahead and run that code, and hopefully you'll see now the portals activating and deactivating as we head through the puzzle world, collecting all of the gems. And there you have it. So challenge completed. I really hope that this video has been somewhat useful. If it has, please give the video a like, comment below, and subscribe for more. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.